Today we're going to review this beautiful Porsche 930 1982, one of the old classic vintage Porsches that you hear so much about. We managed to get our hands on one, and I'd like to thank our friend Ed here, who runs a local service shop here that repairs Porsches, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, located in the city of Edmonton, Alberta here by the name of Elegant Motors. Ed, what can you tell me about this fine car?
Well, I've had this car for many years now, and I really enjoyed it. It's a beautiful car. I've done a lot of engine modifications because I like power. It's nice to be able to move. I found that the factory 911 turbo, the 3.3, just no power, no power, no power, no power. It just doesn't have enough power.
So we're going to summarize a little bit here of what those modifications are all about. And you know, some of those are purists out there. This is probably a swear word, but you're going to look at this and follow the recipe for success. This car goes like a raped ape, and you know what? It's a lot of fun. So anyway, stick around, let's find out. So here we are, we got this bad boy on the road, and for all those Porsche enthusiasts out there, I gotta say, this is not your regular Porsche 930. This one here has a little bit extra oomph behind it, and you're probably wondering what's different. It looks kind of the same, it sounds kind of the same, but this is not your standard Porsche 930. Now, if you know your history on the 930s, you'll know that Porsche started building them in '76 with a 3-liter non-intercooled turbo car with small brakes. Then in 1978, Porsche upgraded. They went to a 3.3 liter and 4-speed still as being the standard transmission, but they had upgraded also to an intercooler. An intercooler kind of the size of a, you know, a binder, a school binder or so. So let's talk about what this car looks like compared to a stock 930. 78 to the 1988 Porsche 930 were virtually unchanged. And if you know Porsches like a lot of enthusiasts know Porsches, then you'll probably know some of these statistics. So let's compare. The original Porsche 930 from the late 70s going into the 80s had a 3.3 liter flat 6 engine. Well, what do you think about this one as a 3.5? So we have a 3.5 liter here. The 80s Porsche 930 had a small intercooler, which was about the size of a binder, like I said. This one here has an intercooler the size of, well, it's a full bay, let's just say that much. The 80s also produced a 930 that had what they called a KLDZ turbo, or K26, that some people considered it as, and some people upgraded to a K27. Well, this has neither of those. This one actually has a much oversized ball-bearing GT35R turbo by Garrett. The 80s Porsche 930 also had single plug ignition. So in other words, one plug per cylinder. You had 6 cylinders, 6 plugs. Well, guess what? This one has 2 plugs per cylinder. So we're at 12 plugs total in this one. The 80s Porsche also had the old antiquated and also mechanical fuel injection. Well, this one doesn't have mechanical fuel injection. This one has electronic fuel injection, EFI, tuned in and supplied by SDS. The factory camshaft on the original 930s were also quite different. They were built for making it easy to drive in stop and go traffic. Well, as you've probably already noticed, this was not very mild. This one's actually very extreme. This particular car actually has an Evo camshaft, like a GT2 cam, very high lift and longer duration. There's a little overlap in this camshaft, providing for much higher level of performance, especially at the higher RPMs. What else? Well, to accommodate that, of course, stock pistons wouldn't work with an Evo cam, so these pistons have been upgraded. So we've got pockets, relief pockets in these pistons as well. So if you're talking about some of the things Ed has done to this car, it also has an increased level of boost. Now we know the factory cars, you know, they always shunned kind of exceeding the boost level, the factory boost setting of about 0.8 bar. Well, that's because intercooling was kind of weak on it. It didn't have liquid cooling. There was no additional support in terms of keeping the engine together. So this car with the EFI, you can dial it in a lot more specifically and get a lot more precise fueling and air mixture, so you can run a much higher level of boost, which this one's sitting currently at about 1.2 bar. So what does all that technical mumbo jumbo mean, really, in the large scheme of things? Well, I rest assured when I say it's a little rougher to drive in traffic, I can pretty much confirm that. It kicks and bucks kind of like a mule. If you don't know how to drive it properly, it's definitely a thoroughbred. But on a positive note, when you unleash the beast, it is absolutely mind-blowing the performance you get from this bad boy. Whoa, we better take it easy. Whoa. So let's feel what this thing feels like here. We're gonna hit the on-ramp, and we're gonna see what this old school Porsche really can do. Here we go. I'm actually borderline scared, to be honest with you. Yeah, you know what? I can honestly tell you, driving that Corvette Z06 as fast as that thing was, I will say was, keyword here, this thing, aside from the harder shifting, is faster in a straight line. This is insane. Never driven anything quite like this. I don't know what the horsepower is of this Porsche, but I know it hasn't been dynoed. But Ed here has done a lot of fine tuning and all the research it takes to make sure he puts together a winning package. And I gotta tell you, for those purists out there who say that, you know what, the old school needs to be packaged up as stock, you know what, I'm not totally sure about that. This thing is a real rush. So thanks again, Ed. That was a phenomenal experience. I just want to thank you for the use of this beautiful car. It really opened my eyes to what is potentially available for power in these cars. It's absolutely stunning. So again, thanks, Ed. And again, you know, please do follow along, subscribe, comment, of course, below, and share this video with your friends out there.